Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I'm Gary, your host. This is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. Here, and this time, wet my whistle. I want to take a look at this book right here. This is Mysteries of Unexplored Worlds, number 48 from 1965. This is from Charlton Comics, featuring the son of Vulcan. But before we get into that, remind you, my two books are available. Bizarre Brain Comics Anthology with some humor and a little bit of adventure, and Bizarre Brain Comics presents Heroes, which has superheroes and a little bit of horror and stuff like that. More conventional mainstream stuff. See? And they're both available online, Amazon, Barnes & Noble online store, etc. Other online booksellers, $7.99 each. And now, okay, Mysteries of Unexplored Worlds, number 48. And this story, this is it sounds like I didn't research the title or anything, because it sounds like it's more of the title was originally a strange and bizarre type title, not unlike Strange Tales and the like from Marvel, which was then used for a superhero character, in this case, Son of Vulcan. And it was written by Joe Gill, with art by Bill Fraccio, and inks by Tony Tallarico. And Son of Vulcan is the name of two comic book characters, one from Charlton in 65, that's this one, and one at DC Comics in 2005, which was one of the Charlton characters bought by DC in 1983. So they're kind of the same. It's the same concept, but it changed from one. The name changed from one character to another. Yeah, and he first appeared in Mysteries of Unexplained Worlds, number 46 in 65. So this is like the third issue featuring him. And he was created by Pat Mazzulli and Bill Fraccio, and is a Roman god inspired perhaps by Marvel's Thor, because son of Vulcan, the son of Odin stuff. The title is changed to Son of Vulcan with issue 49, which is the issue right after this one, but it then ended with issue number 50. And after that, it became Peter Cannon Thunderbolt, which was another character bought by DC. Okay, the Charlton... no, I read that wrong. The character featured some of the first professional work done by Roy Thomas and Dave Cockrum. Not in this issue. And Son of Vulcan is Johnny Man, a newspaper man who was handicapped in the Korean War. And he's covering a war on a fictitious Mediterranean island, and is transported to Olympus by the Roman gods, and is tried for his impudence because of something that he said against the gods while there. And the god of forge and fire, the lame god Vulcan, adopts him as a son and shares his divine powers with him, which is his origin story. So then we come to this issue, and even though after only a couple of adventures, he's already seems to be well known. Fire in the Forge. But you gotta admit, that is a cool title, Son of Vulcan. And here you see it on the cover. It says, "Now, Son of Vulcan, you're helpless. Now I shall avenge myself. Sorry, my son. I am not able to help you. Oh no, this is the end of him. Don't miss the fury of the war god. Yes, his ongoing, continuing main villain is Vulcan's brother, Mars. Not unlike Loki from as Thor's primary, especially early on, villain, or even some of the other like Wonder Woman, early Wonder Woman, and even various versions of Hercules. Okay, here we have splash page. Fury of the War God, and you see Son of Vulcan. They actually do have credits. You can see drawn. He is chained and held at gunpoint, at harpoon point, I should say. Yeah, our story begins in Vietnam. This is during the Vietnam conflict, and you may not be able to see him very well, but here is a transparent visage of Mars himself, and then because he is doing some naughty stuff here in war, because he's been chastised many times by Jupiter, of course, read Zeus, Jupiter, for interfering with human affairs, which he is doing. He's transported back to Olympus, and he is chastised again. So he says, "You do so again, and you'll be sent to Earth permanently." And so he pretends to be okay. Meanwhile, our man Johnny Man is being set on an assignment in Antarctica when some Navy meteorologists have gone missing, and he's going to be sent to cover that story. He wanted to go cover a different story in the Middle East. Well, Mars is not satisfied for very long, and he goes back to Earth and starts interfering in that very encounter in the Middle East that Johnny Man wants to cover. Zeus spots him, says, "Bad boy," and sends him to the Antarctic, where he thinks he'll be stuck there. Of course, you notice the visual storytelling and stuff is fine, and sometimes has some problems with the flow. It's this panel layout, but is fine. The style of art is very, very old-fashioned, and it would not fly today. It would, but still, it's functional. It does the job. It's not as thrilling. It probably just about as dynamic as you get for most Marvel stuff at that time. But well, no one's as good at that as Jack Kirby, but some of the others. So it is quite a capable artist, just not as visually interesting. And here we see Captain Tusk, who commands a fleet, a whaling fleet in the Antarctic Ocean, and he is planning on assisting the Navy in trying to find those missing meteorologists. So Mars appears on Captain Tusk's ship and captures him and then takes his place. He takes Captain Tusk. Well, meanwhile, so he's having his fleet of Captain Tusk's fleet of whaling ships attacking Navy vessels, which sounds ridiculous to me because, well, they're whaling ships. They're not going to stand up to, so that's what they're doing. Meanwhile, Johnny Man is flying down there to do his story, sees what's going on, and transforms into Son of Vulcan. Flies around and he finds where Mars has trapped Captain Tusk and his daughter, which happens to be in the same place where the missing meteorologists are. He frees them, but it was all a trap from Mars. So he goes, fight, fight, fight. Of course, he doesn't realize this is this imposter is Mars himself. And there's some fighting. He takes off. And then it gets to the ship, and he zaps him, a good one, and puts him in chains. But it's a special Olympian type chains, which he cannot break, and even Vulcan can't help him. Meanwhile, the battles go on. The Navy ship shoots a special shell, which both destroys the ship and the chains. But Mars and Son of Vulcan are fine. And they take off, and he holds the regular humans hostage, and in the process, she fights back, and they accidentally fire and sink their own ship. But while Mars is a villain, he is not a murderer, which is odd for God of War, and while he saves, Son of Vulcan saves the young lady, he saves Captain Tusk, and then takes off. He escapes, but his plot is defeated. And it's a backup story here, briefly, of about some background on volcanoes, because of volcanism, you see. And so, that's all I got. It's a fun little read. It's cool, 1965. It's something you don't see. I don't ever come across, but it's a good, fun read. Decent, but not outstanding artwork. Good, decent visual storytelling. Not the best storytelling writing either, but Joe Gill, he's one of the most prolific comic writers there ever was. So he's cranking this stuff out right and left. So that's all I've got for you this time. Thank you for joining me. Please like, share, and subscribe. Have you seen or heard of Son of Vulcan before? Have you read any of his adventures? Let me know what you think of Son of Vulcan. And remember, comics are art.